Hello friends, this is Caparzo again with the King's Royal Rifle Corps, and today we have something special. I hinted at it in my previous KRC vs. HLLE video, but here I joined the wonderfully talented folks over at the People's League podcast for the first ever console casting event for Hell Let Loose. We hope this will set a new standard for match recaps, allowing you to experience all the perspectives and intensity in real time. If you'd like to watch live in the future, Tritium streams these on his Twitch channel, which I've linked in the description. In the future, you can expect more of these types of videos with even more perspectives being added by more participants. With all that preamble out of the way, I really hope you all enjoy this video. It was so much fun to put together, and to be sure to let us know if you have any suggestions on how we can improve. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to an exciting TPL semifinal match between the undefeated 7th Legion and the 4-1 WRTB. The winner of this match will move on to face HLLE in the TPL Championship. Now, we don't have Advent Cam on console, so we won't be doing an eye in the sky coverage or anything like that, but we work around that by trying to get a player on either side to show their points of view. For this match, we don't have anyone on WRTB side, but we will be watching Colonel Chin's point of view as recon for the 7th Legion. I'm Tritium, and I'll be in the background working on the production side of the stream. With me, I have our play-by-play commentator, Hercules, and our color commentator, Caparzo. Hercules, tell us what you think about this match.
Hey, I think it's gonna be another exciting one. As you said, 7th is coming into this semifinals match. Absolutely undefeated. And WRTB has only had one loss in Season 1. So it's going to be a pretty even matchup. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with that. Caparzo, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, like you mentioned, Herc, 7th coming in undefeated here is obviously a testament to their skill, and WRTB are another great team with only one loss to their record. But the fact that these two teams are here is a testament all in and of itself. We're in the semifinals here. The winner is going to go on to face HLLE in the finals. So this is for all the marbles, as they say, as these two teams try to rush out the gate.
Yeah, and it is all about rushing out the gate. We know with these warfare matches, the absolute most critical thing is to get in and get that midpoint first. We see here our layout of points is mid, top. So it's going to be a pretty one-sided match as far as the game goes. We shouldn't see a whole lot of action on that southern side, but it's going to be a brutal one.
Yeah, agreed there, Herc. I was just looking at our strat sketch here. If Tritium would be so kind to pull that up. I've outlined the maps and the points here. I believe I have done it correctly. But as you said, it's going to be a pretty interesting match, especially with Canal Crossing as that middle point. Obviously, in my viewpoint at least, the German side has a pretty big disadvantage coming out there, with the boat bridge would be their least distance traveled, but obviously leaving them extremely vulnerable. What are you thinking about that?
I definitely think Canal Crossing is going to be the point of this match. Limited means of approach, limited means of defense as far as like on the actual point. You see there, probably 40% of that actual strong point is water. So it's going to be real tight, close quarters combat. The best shot's going to come out ahead.
Yep, agreed. And looks like we're off here right off the gate with Colonel Chin in his recon squad. Looks like he got stuck on his own OP there, which is quite interesting, and definitely a weird way to start the match. But looks like also the recon tank is pushing up there, which I am sure is packed with a few extra individuals to help set up some early spawns.
Yeah, again, all about those early spawns, trying to get an approach on that point, a solidified foothold, so that you can come back again and again.
Yeah, it looks like they're taking up the down, all the way to the south, which is, I would say, pretty typical of a recon squad earlier in the game. You want to kind of stay away from that early action, maybe flink off to the side, so you're able to, one, attack the recon the artillery, really early on and take off some of that initial pressure, as well as maybe come up from behind them once you have your OP well placed in deep within their territory.
And artillery is going to be the name of the game. An effective artillery squad can change an entire push on a point. We do see right now that WRTB has started a cap on Canal Crossing. I can't see where their infantry is pushing in from, but we do see a pretty straightforward approach from the 7th Legion. It looks like they're just mainlining it to point the shortest path they can.
Yeah, the initial cap pressure looks like it has begun on the 7th side, or I'm sorry, the WRTB side, as they are taking the initial point about half cap there. So definitely a big advantage to take that point right away. And as you mentioned, it's going to be some close quarters fighting, with so much of that point being on top of that bridge.
Yeah, and here we see Colonel Chen's running into a little bit of trouble down where he's at. Let's go ahead and watch him for just a second. I think he's found a tank. Gotta get that bandage up. I don't know where that tank was, but he was taking some fire from there. As soon as we get another view of that player map, we'll make some marks and try to analyze the approach that we have coming on here. And there it is. That's what we've been waiting for. It does look like we're seeing a push from, let's take a look at that strat sketch. We're seeing a push from the 7th Legion right across the river, coming down into Canal Crossing. And it does look like a small push on the south side of that little waterway interchange there. They're still trying to push into that east side of the point.
Yeah, such a limited... Yeah, agreed, Herc. At least they got that OP place, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to keep it with such a close combat. But it does look clear for a minute. Maybe their recon tank could help them out a bit. But as you mentioned there, it's such a limited avenues of attack that you have if you're the 7th. And man, I don't know where I would start. I think you have to probably take it a little slower and try to build up inside the town. While you kind of do a little look over here with an airhead, try to get the enemy swelling that way, while maybe some more forces come in through the south. So it'll be interesting to see what they decide on.
Give them a little red herring. We do see that they did establish a barely blue zone garrison in George 3, Keypad 1, right on that riverbank. I think they're going to use that as a pretty heavy push into Canal Crossing and get across that field and stuff. We do see the 7th has started a cap on that center point. Let's see how that turns out.
Yeah, I think especially on a point like this, I mean, we beat to death already how difficult it's going to be for either point to really solidify it. But if you're the 7th, I would be thinking the same thing. You want to get in there and contest and get that point back as quickly as possible early game, because if you wait any longer, you start having the medium roll up, you have the heavies coming out of spawn, and you let them start to place down their Gary network to prevent any sort of swift counterattack. So it's definitely going to be important for them to maintain this pressure here.
Absolutely. And we do see, again, with this view from Colonel Chen, he is pushing west across the south side of that map, presumably to get back to that artillery like we were talking about earlier. Not seeing a whole lot of action down on that south side of that map, but it does look like he has spotted a recon tank, probably waiting for precisely this, waiting to see an enemy recon team.
Exactly, and clearly WRTB understands the value of artillery and keeping your artillery alive, dedicating the early game recon tank to that, which I can't say is necessarily a mistake. It's such a powerful tool on any map, but this is definitely a little cat and mouse game we're witnessing.
Yeah, we saw that they do have a German Puma right over there as well, so this could turn into a game of recon tank to tank.
Another cat has joined the game.
Yeah, let's watch this turn out.
Oh, Canal Crossing just got captured by the 7th. They ended up flipping it over to their side.
They sure did. I wonder if they're going to be able to capitalize on that minor gain right there and use it to get WRTB on the back foot.
Ooh.
Oh, we're seeing some combat. Let's take a watch at this. Colonel Chin is chasing this recon tank, and we're seeing this recon to recon action here. Oh no, it looks like the Puma was lost.
No. I think the
All clear so far.
yeah, you're right. No, I think the Puma came out on top there.
Don't see any nodes either.
Yeah.
We're gonna try and keep some cover. Run that right. All right, Garrison, basically.
Tank ride, please.
Right on my face.
I don't think so. I do think that is going to be the enemy recon tank coming out ahead of that Puma on that little war they had right there. And we see Colonel Chen. He's going to say, "I'm going to mark this," and then continue moving to the west, northwest.
Yeah, not much you can do in that situation if you're him. I mean, he was trying to help his buddy out with that smoke grenade. I understand trying to give him a little bit of help, but oh wow.
Yeah, it looks like they found him.
That's going to set him back a little bit, but just on the grander picture, 7th capturing that a point back is really critical for their early game here, and you know what, it was almost beneficial to with that latent cap where now their team might be a little bit more established. And looking at the map for Colonel Chin, it looks like they are a little bit more established to the south there. Herc, you want to show that up on the strat sketch here?
I was just about to say, speaking of map, let's bring out that strat sketch. We are seeing a couple of points of push on ruins, I think it was. So we're seeing coming from that canal crossing. They're coming around the north side of that river, and they're going to try to swing down. But we're also seeing kind of a southeastern push happening. That's coming into that east side of ruins. A couple of infantry set up to the south. We'll see if they get a garrison set up there and establish an additional point of pressure.
100%, and with Chin going down in the south here, he might, after harassing in the artillery a little bit, look to kind of probe the enemy spawns that might be present 200 meters outside of ruins and see what he can do there. So definitely going to be interesting to see how he decides to play this as a recon this late in the match, or not that it's late in the match, but in the early match craziness that is so important in these matches.
Right my body.
They're pushing south in the factory.
Sorry,
Yeah.
toss one. Green, not middle.
Fires up.
We're pushing at Canal Crossing right now.
That doesn't look like they're making much progress on the north side of that riverway there. I'm not sure if they're getting shut down or if they just haven't been able to push out and actually establish anything. I think their biggest approach on ruins is going to be from the south. I think they're going to get a southern Gary set up, probably Echo 7 area.
Dog squad call.
Yeah, 100%. It's that north of the river, as you were mentioning, it's such a narrow point, and it's such an obvious point, I guess you could even say, where if you have a couple machine gunners and a tank, you easily shut that down. And not that it's a big avenue of attack, but you're essentially shutting down the northern 2 quadrants of the map and really limiting your approach and to those urban streets.
And I think you hit the nail on the head. We saw a couple of marks there, right there. We see some enemy tank marks whenever he flashes his map up. So I do think they have some enemy tanks on that north side of that.
How close was that?
North side of that river there.
Guys, N squad, G squad, they're in the...
Yeah, and if I could just take another moment to look at the strat sketch here, Tritium, I noted a couple of these blue arrows that you might see on the top of the screen here, and those show you each of the sectors that we're looking at. So if you're the first right now, the 7th, you control this whole line here because you have canal crossing. This enables you to get some garrisons that are really close on ruins. So if you're able to set yourself up and push them back into their point or back into their blue zone, the red zone for you as an attacker, you can really set these garrisons up in a way that provides a real constant pressure that is very difficult to deal with as a defender. And if you're a disciplined team, like the 7th is, obviously, they will be coming from those multiple angles and not becoming one-dimensional in their attack. And I think that that's going to be a really important part of their current strategy at this point of the game.
Well, I think you are right. We saw another little glimpse of that map right there. We see a garrison that was established just south of where you had put that mark on Strat Sketch.
Zach, what tank is that?
And we're going to see another garrison even further south of that. So it looks like they're trying to establish a push to come around and hook onto the southwest side of ruins.
Nice.
Maybe trying to catch them in a three-way push. I do think that north side is shut down, but it looks like they're making a little bit of progress, maybe trying to find and eliminate that enemy armor.
They got the satchel. They didn't get
Yeah, I'm liking the map control right now too. It's a really dominant position that they seem to find themselves in right now, where they kind of have that slanted line of infantry leading from ruins all the way north to Canal Crossing through town center, and having that presence and that spacing, especially with the OPs that we're seeing on the screen right now, that's really nice. The church is a vital point here as well, because that's kind of the route into Canal Crossing from the south. So I really am impressed by the map control being displayed right now by the 7th after not having the point right off the bat. I think it's very impressive work.
Heavy tank.
Yeah, and what I would assume that WRTB would be doing in this case, again, we don't have access to their point of view, unfortunately, but we can assume, and what I would assume is that they're probably coming from a friendly garrison established somewhere near ruins, and they're probably going to try to flank out to the east of town center and head north to Canal Crossing and maybe try to hit it, on that southern side, or they could even do a wide flank and come in on that northeastern side after they cross the river to Crossing.
Yeah, I would say that that's their best route as well. But as we were saying earlier, with that tank kind of holding that angle up north of pumping station, we might see them take an opportune moment to kind of push those tanks ahead when they notice an airhead by the 7th, maybe trying to catch them overextended and moving some of their forces to attack, and kind of catch them off guard with an armored assault like that. I think that would be another way that they can kind of crack in there, but I do see a lot of 7th as well allocated to that point, so looks like they're well prepared for it.
And I'm seeing a little bit of exposure on the point of Canal Crossing, just to that northwest. They do have a squad, it looks like, coming in the center of Echo 3 and to Delta 3, but they've left that north just kind of exposed. And there is definitely the potential for WRTB to set up Delta 3 and come around on that north side and hook into Canal Crossing. It's just all going to be, what do they see the best strategy as right now? I think they're probably, we see that the 7th has started a cap on ruins, so WRTB is probably trying to withdraw back to the defensive. Again, all assumptions, we don't have that view, but I imagine that they're trying to re-solidify that hold that they have on ruins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and, coming from down
it's a truck.
2 points, needing to cap the middle, definitely puts you in a bad situation, so if you're WRTB, you're wanting to make sure you hold this and make sure that the game is about Canal Crossing and doesn't become about getting ruins back. Not that you can't come back from that. It's a long game, of course, at this point. But you definitely set yourself in a very bad situation where maybe you're dedicating too much to the attack because you realize you need to get 2 points, and then as I said in previous videos of mine, if you go from a 4-1 to a 5-0, it doesn't matter. You've lost the game either way, but you need to put that pressure on if you're going to have any hope of pulling out a win.
Is the 76 done?
Yeah, and you are absolutely right. We see time and time again when clans get pushed back to that last point. They've lost their footing. They're not prepared to come back from that because they focused so much on that middle point. It is all about that middle point, but without any preparation on that last point, there is the potential to get walked all the way to the back. We're still seeing that cap on Ruins. I'm not sure if the cap is still happening or if they've lost that little bit of pressure. Let's just stay tuned and find out. We've got Colonel Chen making some contact near what I believe to be their artillery position.
Copy that. Yeah, go on, pushing.
Let's get a flare up or something over the point.
I'll make my way over there now.
All right, it does look like they have rendered that artillery ineffective. Even if somebody can get on that artillery right now, they're not going to have much time to aim.
But give me
76 on Fox.
The commentator's curse, Hercules. Your first commentator's curse. How do you feel? The guy gets hit by an AP mine, and then the spotter is killed by the artilleryman.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. They're going to keep going back. They're going to keep going back there and trying to get that artillery, and they may or may not stay, keep it ineffective, but I think it's definitely important for them.
And it does look like on Chin's map there that WRTB was able to hold Ruins. Definitely allocated that extra manpower, as you assume there, Herc, to ensure that they maintain control there. But still, it's looking like I didn't notice an abundance of garrisons anymore in the middle of the map. Maybe I'm missing these quick flashes. And as you mentioned, there's still no garrison on that E line, E3 up there. So definitely would still like to see that. There's definitely room to get one in there. And it doesn't need to be pretty. It just needs to be able to go red when people are near it and tell you the information you need to get from it.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. The radar network is extremely important in my opinion. We do see that they have one squad lead and maybe a squad member kind of up there guarding that area, watching for contact. I would still put a garrison up there for that radar network, but they might have a different plan, and it looks like they have that little area locked down pretty tight. Shifting back down to the south, looking at that map view that he keeps throwing up there for just a fraction of a second. We'll try to grab as much info from it as we can, but you're seeing it as quick as we are. It looks like they lost that garrison that they had on that blue line just to the southeast of Ruins, so we'll see if they get that put back up.
With that.
Yeah, definitely some map control being displayed by WRTB, trying to not only expel the enemies from the point, but also control the surrounding streets and alleys that are around there in Carentan. So definitely good work being done. That Chin here is having a difficult time. I'm sure he wishes he wasn't, but it's definitely a testament to WRTB not getting too restricted to the point and still trying to push out and ensure that they're controlling the space around the point.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely, like you said, a testament to the caliber of the teams. We saw the 7th throw up 2 garrisons south of Ruins on that blue line, and then we saw WRTB come up and take both of those garrisons out. They're both gone, effectively rendering that southern push on Ruins ineffective.
Yeah, definitely. It's WRTB is very experienced. They realize the same thing that we do here, where we're outlining how close the garrison placements can be to Ruins. It's a bit of a double-edged sword in that respect, where you have it being such a close area where you can attack, but it's also a close area where WRTB can get a couple guys in there and take those out and really deal quite a big blow to your team's push and control of that area of the map.
Yeah, and then we do see that the 7th was able to put up an additional garrison just to the east of Ruins this time, not to the southeast. It looks like they're going to try to come in right along that road that's coming into the Ruins. And that's going to be a hard push. Those little roadways, they get locked down pretty easily.
Yeah, the WRTB is definitely having supplies dropped in these areas to maintain control. I think I saw that was only 50 supplies though. So
And
if
we've
Chin is
started another cap on the ruins. Team limit reached on the garrisons. Boy, that is a problem, but it is a good problem to have.
Yeah, of all the problems in Hell Let Loose, being at the garrison limit is one that I am content with having. But especially if I have a good commander like we have here, who is quickly to remove another garrison and allow Chin to place a really, really great red zone garrison that is a bit of a dual purpose.
Yeah, that's not only going to be a great garrison for a push on the ruins from the southwest. Let's switch over to that strat sketch real quick. We'll lay it out. We see that that Colonel Chin just put up a garrison pretty far southwest of ruins. And that garrison is going to allow for them to push up that back road to ruins and then also have an immediate push on that 502nd point. So back over to Chin. I think he had made a great decision by putting that garrison there. It is locked out pretty immediately. Not uncommon to see, but still a great choice for placement.
We're getting
Definitely. It's if it stays up too and it doesn't get taken out, it's kind of all right that it's red, because as long as you're able to capture that point, it's going to go green and you're able to pretty quickly capitalize off of that momentum into the final point and allow your defenders to get repositioned from Canal Crossing and reestablish your network of garrisons and, as you mentioned earlier, your radar array of garrisons.
Well, and then also, like I was saying earlier, if they can use that garrison, which is now clear, if they can use that to push on ruins, take ruins, then they've got a springboard forward to 502nd. WRTB would be on their back foot, and they wouldn't have very much time to react to that insane pressure that would be coming from that garrison in Charlie 6.
Yeah, what I think what Chin is doing here right now is he's waiting for them to cap and kind of hoping that the cap is imminent or very soon, because if they're able to cap and he is positioned where he is inside the enemy strong point, then it might for a moment allow the 7th to begin capping, which would then lock out that HQ.
I was going to say it's a strategy in itself. You lock out that HQ. If WRTB hasn't planned for this, then they might not have a garrison on that back point. That's one of the failings that we see sometimes in clans. Well, in teams in general, but hopefully we're not going to see that in this case.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a moment where you didn't think ahead, but we just saw an example where he got into a position where he had to ask the commander to remove a garrison. You could even have a situation where your team has 8 garrisons, but when you lose that point, you go from 8 garrisons to no garrisons, and if you're in a situation like that, then we're talking about your AHQ being locked out and there's being a 400-meter walk essentially in either the north or south direction to get to that point and have any chance of swinging it back in your direction. But that's a long time to be traveling.
Yes, it is. Now we do see Colonel Chin chasing a enemy 76. I think it's headed to ruins to provide a little backup. Maybe he can identify it and somebody can intercept that. Because that would be a pretty big pain in the butt if it got over into that point. That would pretty much allow WRTB to hold that smaller point with a lot less pressure.
I wonder if he's calling out in command chat that if someone shoots his icon, he's right on the tank. I wonder if that's what he's doing, asking for the beacon. But it looks like he actually has an AT rolling up here. So this is going to be interesting to see. He doesn't have a satchel. He won't be able to take him out in one go. So is that an AT? Yeah. Like they're saying he does have a satchel.
What the fuck? It breaks me out of the tank.
Kirk. What was that? Did he shoot him out of the tank?
I don't know. That was pretty quick to see. I didn't really catch. Maybe that tank was trying to fire a like a proximity round. There's too many people around him. Couldn't quite hit him. I'm unsure.
It looked like almost for a second like a tank driver flopped out of the tank like you would out of a transport truck when you're shot out of one. That was weird. I don't know. There's some interesting like collision on the tank barrel because I don't know. I'd be interested to ask Chen if he was just trying to be a pest or if there's some meta that we're not aware of yet.
Let's hope that's not a new bug introduced.
Yeah, would certainly be interesting. I can't say I'd be surprised with Hell Let Loose sometimes, but you know, it's still the best game I've ever played. So you know, a bit of a funny moment if that was the case. But
maybe medium.
still don't know if that tank went down. Looks like those markers might still be in place.
Yeah, it looks like I was trying to look at. It looks like that tank is headed towards the ruins, but it does look like the 7th has a pretty large cap. Or a pretty large pressure force going on the ruins right now from 3 different directions. We see from the north, east, and a little bit from the south.
I agree.
If they can make it happen before that tank gets there, they're doing good. But if that tank gets there first, they might be in a little bit of trouble.
Introduction to armor into a battle is always a potential tide changer. You could be on the point and wiped out in just a moment with a well-placed tank shot. So such a big difference and such a big reason why good AT is so important. You know, making sure that you're going that extra little bit to go for the flank and make sure that you're able to get behind them and get that shot off. You know, it's a little bit of a situation where
Tanks on the move up.
you might want to take the faster route, but the faster route is avoiding that KIA screen and being a little sneakier and taking the little bit of a longer route. At least that's how I try to play it.
Now we do see the 7th has started a cap on the ruins, and we see Colonel Chen falling back to that very last point, like we were said earlier. Assuming he's trying to get that pre-cap started as soon as they can take the ruins.
76 destroyed.
Good work,
He's heading north.
Be interesting to see what happens here. I just heard them shout out that 76 was taken out, so this could be a cap potentially.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that 76 was able to make it to the ruins to reinforce that positioning there.
Hey, we're at Max Garrison's Creek.
And we hear that call once again. 7th is at Max Garrison's.
You can dismantle this one right.
You're going to have to take one down from the back so they can get an attacking garrison up, and hopefully they do it quick enough to see some pressure happen.
Okay.
We got like, you want me to just
Getting a mine down immediately, just being as big of a pain as you can. Half your job is a recon.
We see that they did not immediately start a cap on that, so there is some enemy presence. We're seeing a chevron of 1-to-1 on that last point.
You see my body here? I'm crouching.
Okay, yeah.
Kirk, did you happen to notice if they kept that garrison up from earlier that he placed?
I got your back.
Oh,
I have not really been able to see it. We saw that cap start and then get contested pretty quickly. I imagine if that garrison is still up, it's going to be providing quite a bit of cap pressure on that 502nd. And we see Colonel Chen here. Example of patience. Sometimes you just have to wait.
Lockdown, got it.
Yep.
Alright, enemies.
yeah, that's such a common place for a garrison to be placed where he put that AP mine. So definitely understands the map and the different ways that the enemy might approach it. What a great movement play by him.
And we see him taking some shots at WRTB as they move into the west side of point. Let's go to him real quick and see if he comes up with any more contact.
Squad, I hear you.
For anyone watching, I do recommend that you play with your HUD on. You can have information at a glance with hardly any downside.
Oof. Potential trade there.
Marking a medium Sherman, Papa.
But I think that was really great work by Chin. Looks like the garrison might be a little bit to the southwest of the point, judging by where those waves of enemies were coming by. But I think he did a great job in just stalling them for just a moment and allow the team kind of to reestablish themselves and kind of gear up for the next fight, organize their lines, and prepare for the next push.
Yeah, and we're seeing quite a bit of defensive screening around the ruins, but it does look like we're seeing a couple of marks to the north of ruins for enemy infantry. So what I imagine, if we take a quick look over at the strat sketch here, I imagine that the WRTB is probably trying to hook back over into the north side of town center to establish some pressure. But at the same time that that's happening, we see 7th pushing out from town center in several different directions, and then I'm sorry, not from town center, from ruins. Pushing out from ruins in several different directions, trying to establish that pressure forward.
Yeah, and I think where you're kind of outlining there with those big pushes in the middle there, where they're kind of keeping themselves facing the biggest force of the enemy and kind of not allowing there to be a scattered line where you have a bunch of people up north and a bunch of people down south. You know, you want to keep your defense as your top priority. You only need to cap 3 points to win. Anything else is just assistance on top of that. Shoot.
Supply truck coming my way.
Alright, coming back over to Chen. We see him running into some contact and taking a fall.
Yeah, supply truck.
Looks like they took his spot up there in that that house up there. So I would be interested to see if he got a kill with that AP mine.
He's in the weed.
Come back to the spotter loadout so we can get the flares up. I think that's a wise choice for his current assignment.
And we see that they just had a garrison up in Charlie 5, and that garrison is gone. So it looks like WRTB is going to try to take that northern push and come back around, but we see the 7th has already rotated that defense screening around to intercept.
I just accurate Gary mark on option. I think we just fucking bypass this and go around.
So much of clan matches is just doing the current task as quickly as possible. If you see something, you need to do it immediately and retask your squad to the most pressing issue and make sure you're tackling it as quickly as possible. Any sort of delay and hesitation in standing around and maybe wondering where you should go is a moment that the enemy is capitalizing it and getting those spawn waves off and potentially becoming a bigger problem. So really good to see them immediately shift gears and prioritize that defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're seeing a pretty large pressure being applied on 502nd. It looks like the 7th does have members in the point. I'm not sure if they have enough yet. I haven't seen that cap get started, but see Colonel Chen taking a shot right there. Pretty quick on that snap, and one shot and that guy is down.
Great shot by Chen.
Enemy infantry coming up behind us. One's taken out. Good shit.
Just kind of screening the tank's advance. Sure.
We see that cap has been started on that last point. The 7th has been able to put a tremendous amount of pressure on that last point, maybe pushing WRTB out, maybe not.
Yeah, it's certainly an all-hands-on-deck moment. If you're WRTB, you're dealing with enemies that appear to be directly inside the strong point. So, interesting to see how you react here.
Bastards.
Perhaps reinforced there by WRTB, staving off some of the pressure.
We saw it go contested, and then I can't quite tell if they're defending or if the 7th is still capturing, but it does look like the 7th is still capturing with just an encircling of that point.
Yeah, really, really clinical work. Look, even coming from the north there is such a tanker's haven, and it does look like they have a heavy up there, so that's definitely where I'd want to be.
WRTB has held off that cap. They are defending currently. Again, guys, we are on the last point. If 7th takes this point, the match is over. If WRTB can defend and come back, they have a chance.
I'm trying.
Yep, single game elimination. You can't delay. You have to play your best game, because one loss and that'll be your season. So looks like WRTB showing a lot of resilience here, getting that defense on, it appears.
Yeah, we're still seeing him. The 7th pretty encircled around that point, but the WRTB is defending. Watching Colonel Chin here, it looks like he's got some contact just to his west-northwest. Let's see if he can handle that.
I see some people coming from the J marker thing, C4.
Now, we're probably seeing Chen saying something here to the tank. Unfortunately, we had a little bit of technical difficulty, and we're not able to grab the party audio from the stream here. We are able to grab all of the other audio, the command shout audio, the squad audio, just not the audio from Chen. And we see the 7th has put down an airhead into the center of that point, it looks like. Maybe they can hold that and use that as a spawn wave in, pushing WRTB out.
That would certainly make a difference here.
Be on point. Can I get 2 more people in my squad?
Fear artillery as well coming in.
You got somebody battling you?
Yeah, we see artillery is back in the game, and there was some contact over there to that west and northwest from Chin's current location, so they're certainly not giving up, trying to push back in and see what they can make happen.
They have already hitting
I see that 7th does still have a cap, a little bit over halfway, and it is 3 to 2 chevrons on that cap point.
I love the visual of this. Capping the point while dismantling the nodes. Truly, the recon grind does not stop if you're Chin. So this is quite impressive dedication to the cause by him. So just shout out you, Chin.
All around, we've seen great recon play from him. We saw him come around that south side of the map, get back behind enemy lines quick, deal with the already making them ineffective, put up a clutch garrison, and I mean, just really help with that push on 5-0 We're seeing 3 to 1 chevrons on point, and that cap is almost done. I think I'm going to go ahead and say GG's to the 7th. Good luck in the finals match against Hell Let Loose Elite. It's been a great time watching this match, a great time commentating. Caparzo, what do you have to say about it?
I mean, like you said it all. It was a really competitive match. Chin did a great job on recon, kind of harassing their artillery when it mattered, and then shifting gears to be more of a spotter and just sort of tossing up those pings and letting his team know exactly what's going on. So great job by the 7th. Awesome map control. WRTB. They push back from a lot of pressure a lot of different times. So resilient team, and truly deserve to be into the quarterfinals. But congratulations to the 7th.
And with that, I think that match is over. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for checking us out, and stay tuned for the finals match that we have coming up. Trit, you want to take just a second before we end this and let the peeps know what they have to look forward to there?
Yep, coming up, next match is the TPL Season 1 Championship. That will be between HLLE and the 7th Legion. So looking forward to that. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in, and yeah, I think that's going to be it for us. Anything, any last words you want to say, Caparzo, Hercules?
Go ahead, Cap.
Nothing much more for me. Thanks everyone for watching. I'm really looking forward to the finals here, and hopefully we can bring you some more perspectives and really give you the best experience possible as a viewer. So thanks everyone for watching.
Yeah, absolutely what he said. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for giving this a chance. This is our first time doing a live commentating session on a stream, so thanks for having some patience with us.
Oh yeah, definitely looking forward to bringing more streams to you, potentially in season 2. So thank you again, and we'll see you all.